Alright, welcome back to the Doctor Who reviews, and yeah, let's talk about the newest episode, the Zygon Invasion. First off, let me say how much of it feels like that feels like a classic episode title, the Zygon Invasion. I just kind of dig that. Oh man. But yeah, the Zygon Invasion, let's talk about this. So this episode pretty much takes place and explains why we have another Osgood. Well, we have why Osgood still lives. Apparently, yeah, as you guys remember from Day of the Doctor, a Zygon took her form, and in that, there was a peace treaty that we all forgot about between the Zygons and the human. There was a peace treaty where 20 million Zygons could live on Earth in peace. Now, fast forward to now, and there's a Zygon splinter group, because there are Zygons out there who are like, we just want to live in peace, while these younger Zygons are more or less like, no, we want to be, we want our own planet, we don't want to hide, we want to show who we truly are in the world, we don't, enough of this fucking hiding. So we have this episode. So, what did I think of it? Not bad. It had I will say that it is a little slow, but I would not say that's bad. It did have a very slow start to it, and I feel like, yeah, a lot more is going to happen in a bigger build for the next episode, because obviously this is another two-parter. So with the Zygon Invasion, we have the Doctor along with Kate Stewart and Clara in what more or less is trying to stop this Zygon invasion from happening, and trying to stop this Zygon splinter group, because they've executed the Zygon High Command. And now these Zygons have captured Osgood, and now they're planning a full-on attack. Now this episode actually feels a lot like... this should have been called Doctor Who, The Secret Invasion, because this really feels like if Doctor Who took part in the story in the Marvel storyline, The Secret Invasion. That's what it really feels like here. Is that it's Doctor Who, the Secret? It's Secret Invasion. That's pretty much what it is. It is pretty much the Marvel storyline, but I think told better. Oh man. But anyway, what was I gonna say? With this episode, the main thing about this is that you really have to depend on who do you trust. That is the big thing here, is that it really comes down to who can you trust in this kind of situation? Who can you really count on in this situation when you're fighting an enemy that can literally take shape of something that, it can literally shapeshift. How do you determine friend from foe? And also... we also learn that these Zygons have evolved. It's not like in the previous time when Zygons needed a human host to keep that, that form they take alive. This time, apparently some Zygons can actually take an image from a person's mind and keep that image going. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool new trick, and how they managed to do that with their... there's one scene in here where, these group of soldiers are about to shoot these Zygons, and then they come out in, looking like their families. And yeah, while you're screaming at the TV, while I'm screaming at the TV, fucking shoot them. Then you got to look at it at the other perspective of, would you really want to shoot your own mother and really risk that she's telling the truth? But then again, you are dealing with Zygons, and would they really, when you think about it, would they really just let their captives, roam around and not have them sealed up? That's that's kind of the big thing right there. Also, you just gotta have, fucking logic right there. Oh, I'm fighting shapeshifters, and what I know from unit training is, I just forgot before I brought in the unit training thing, is that this was a top secret thing among unit, and even some lower class unit soldiers didn't know about all this, and now they're just thinking, well, fuck, we're getting invaded suddenly. So, maybe you should have, briefed your opponent, briefed your people a little bit better, but, whatever. So, moving right along through this episode, we also get a bit of more Osgood, and we still don't know if this is the human Osgood or the Zygon Osgood. They do kind of heavily allude that this may be they do actually leave it open-ended of, could this be the human Zygon, or, the human Osgood or the Zygon Osgood? Could be one or the other, although they do really heavily imply, especially from Osgood herself, that it may be the Zygon Osgood. But in the end, it doesn't really matter if she's human or Zygon, because really, they've just kind of considered themselves human Zygon hybrids, and yeah, we get more of the whole it's a hybrid kind of storyline. So I'm wondering, yeah, I get it, Moffat, you're doing the hybrid thing. We know we're gonna see this. This Khaled Time Lord hybrid better pay off. That's all I'm gonna say. So this Time Lord Dalek hybrid better really pay off. Anyway, also another thing that I liked was the sudden appearance of Zygon Zygon Clara. That was something I was like, oh, Zygon Clara. But then again, I do remember an earlier preview where it kind of showed Clara in like a tank, so I think, yeah, you pretty much spoiled it from an earlier preview. But no, I had to but then again, I had to physically remember it. It was like, towards the end, I was like, oh, Clara's probably a Zygon, isn't she? That's the thing, like, when they go into the tank, and look at all the captured humans, I was like, yeah, this is the point where we're going to find out Clara's a Zygon. Although you kind of suspect that, yeah, she probably is a Zygon from the episode itself. I mean, from that point where she runs into the family acting weird, and from then on, you have that sense of, this is a Zygon, isn't it? And that's the whole thing, is that it really does do the whole, who do we trust? And that's the other, and again, with the lone sheriff, I was thinking to myself, yep, this is another Zygon. Sometimes it's a little obvious that who can be a Zygon and who can't, but yeah, at most points it felt more like, yeah, it's a little more obvious as to who's the Zygon and who's not. I was actually kind of expecting, like, what would have been a real big shocker is that the Doctor was the Zygons had captured the Doctor, and he's been, the Doctor's a Zygon. Well, not from Series 8 from then on. What I mean is, like, the start of this episode, towards the end of this episode, Clara discovers that the Doctor is, the real Doctor in a little life pod, and, the Doctor's, this Doctor's been a Zygon the whole time. That would have made for an interesting story. But then again, we got the whole, oh god, the Doctor's something else in a little earlier in this episode. So, what else am I trying? There's not a lot else to say with this other episode. It's not bad. It's just it's a little slow. That's the thing, is that it's a little slow, but it does really prey on the fear of who do you trust. That's the main driving point of this episode, and I really like that, because you're dealing with a shape-shifting alien race. You're obviously going to be having some paranoia, some, real trust issues here throughout this entire storyline. And I'm pretty sure the second half's going to be really interesting as well. Also, I'm pretty sure that Kate Stewart isn't dead. I'm pretty sure that, what really happened was that Kate killed the Zygon that transformed in front of her, and she pretended to be the Zygon she killed over the phone. That's what it more than likely is. I know that because they've already done that stunt before, and a lot more lazily, in the Day of the Doctor storyline, where the Queen, what was her name? Yeah, Queen Elizabeth pretended to be a Zygon, and the rest of the Zygons are like, oh, okay, you're the Queen, alright. So yeah, we've already done this before. We've already done, this whole, faked you out, Zygons, I used your own shape-shifting thing against you. Mirror. We've already kind of done this dance already. What else? Not a lot else, actually. Again, it's not a bad episode. It's just a little slow, and it does pick up the pace towards the end, and again, it really feels like this feels like it belongs on the air date of Halloween, because it really does prey on your paranoia. It really does prey on, that. And it's probably been one of the better episodes Peter Harness has written so far, because see, if you like any of Peter Harness's episodes, which are as followed, I'm trying to remember them all. Kill the Moon. I didn't care much for. I hated Kill the Moon. But yeah, I think that was the only one now that I think about it. But he did write Jonathan Strange, the TV series Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and I actually did like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, even though I didn't care much for his episode Kill the Moon. But maybe now that he has a chance to, really expand further, now that he gets to do a two-parter, maybe, hopefully I won't hate this thing on a whole. So far, not a bad start. So you guys tell me, what did you guys think of the Zygon invasion? Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Just comment below, let me know, and yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys later.